Alright guys, in this episode of DockSide TV, we shot this one a few months back when it was very, very cold. We had to delay this episode as we were showcasing our new Matrix towel, like Charlie has in her hand right here. And they just came in, and this is what's going to be in your Matrix bait box. We were using the midnight mullet, catching a plethora of bass, redfish, even some freshwater cats, and some man-made canals. And this is a great episode on how to target low water in the winter, which right now we're coming into the spring, but when we get into the winter again, mimic these techniques in this episode. And I hope well, tell them enjoy your towel.
Enjoy your towel.
And enjoy this episode of DockSide TV.
Zerby Beats. So we don't push up on them. That's what happens in the wintertime, is these reds. I've went over this on multiple DockSide TV episodes. Once you catch one, you're gonna catch a lot of them. And in the wintertime, it's also very common to catch a lot of throwbacks like this one right here. That one's probably about 13 inches. Go ahead and let that one go. Got these new Matrix towels right here that come in real handy, keeping your hands clean. I'm gonna throw right back where I caught that one into one just a minute ago. See if they got any more in this school. What I'm doing right now is fishing a man-made canal. It's very deep in the middle, about 20 foot. They got a beautiful grass edge right on the bank that comes out about anywhere between 5 to 15 yards. You just put on a good pair of polarized sunglasses so you can see where that grass edge ends. And we're just painting the edge of that grass coming down the drop off of the shelf into the deeper water. And we're looking for, could be anything in here, bass, reds, a few trout. You don't catch a lot of trout after big cold fronts like this, but the ones you do catch are really nice. One area where you can do really well with trout after a big front is down there by the Chalmette wall. But I really like to target these man-made marsh canals after big fronts because the bass or reds can really gang up pretty thick. You typically get the whole area to yourself. There's a pretty one. Whoa. There's a pretty one. Oh yeah. I like the mullet, midnight mullet, and mullet imitation colors in the dead of the winter. As you know, most of your crustaceans and shrimp get out of here that time of year, and mullets pretty much stay throughout the winter, and that's one of the primary food sources that these fish eat on, especially these reds in the dead of the winter time. Like I said, water temperatures are in the low 50s now, and very common to find big schools of reds in these deeper canals, and they get sucked out of the duck ponds and they look for a little bit deeper water, and these man-made canals are just fantastic places to target them. trout or a small red. Oh, look what it is. I didn't think that was another big red. That's what makes it so fun in this marsh, guys. It's just one cast could be a red, next cast could be a bass, next cast could be a trout, next cast could be a flounder. Every time you set the hook, it's a mystery of what's on the other end. And I just really enjoy that. Don't get me wrong, we really enjoy catching big trout after big trout or 15-inch trout after 15-inch trout, but the mystery of wintertime marsh fishing in these deep man-made canals, of not knowing what's on the other end of the line, so much fun. So much fun. We've had a lot of days in some of these man-made canals too with a limit of trout and a limit of reds all in one day, or here lately the last couple years with all of the fresh water we've been getting, it's been more getting, when we do really hit them hard, it's a double limit, but it's a limit of reds and a limit of bass. So haven't caught any trout yet today, and the fishing's not on fire like I was hoping. The conditions are right. I like super low water, which we do have pretty low water. I like it cold, but I do like a falling tide, and it's kind of like a stagnant dead tide with maybe a light incoming to it, which isn't that terribly important in the dead of the winter, but all in all, conditions are pretty favorable. I just don't think there's a gazillion fish in this canal system at the moment, but plenty good enough to keep our interest. What bass and reds usually do in the marsh as we approach from fall into winter into the middle of the winter is the first front or two, or the first time the water levels drop, they're going to go from the duck ponds where they stay all summer, and they're going to suck out into the little creeks and tributaries that feed the duck ponds. As we showed in the last couple DockSide TV episodes, fishing the windy bayous for bass, those were pretty narrow little windy creeks, average depth 3 foot, deepest area in them bends probably about 6 or 7. But as the fronts continue to pile up more and more, and some of those nights get really cold, those fish are going to look to go deeper and deeper, and they're going to go from them feeder bayous out to where those bayous dump into a main canal like we're in right here. So we've had a couple back-to-back really good fronts. The water's really dropped out good. Water's gotten a lot colder, and now, you know, we're right on that tweener. You still could catch them in some of them skinnier bayous, but I like to target these man-made canals that have a lot of good depth in the middle, and these fish will really consolidate in here as it gets colder and colder. That's a big red. That's not a bass. Oh, look what it is. Comes back to what I was just saying. You never know what's on the end of the line in these man-made canals in the dead of the winter. This is one of the best table fares there are. Oh, might not be the prettiest fish that we have in southeast Louisiana, but it sure is one of the tastiest. Old blue cat. This is not a hard head, guys. This is the kind that goes home. Gets in the grease. This is good stuff right here. And they love the midnight mullet too. Very common to catch these in the wintertime around here. They do hit plastic, and we're getting more and more of these as the salinities aren't as high as they were years ago. So let's go over, that's what catfish, well, let's get back to this matrix towel. Catfish and all that slime. Glad I got this little towel. So what catfish do, they slime up your line. If you ever miss a fish and you think it was a trout or a red, and you got this slime on your line, let me tell you, it wasn't a trout or a red. It was a catfish. And what I'm doing, throwing right up to the edge of that grass and just slowly working it down the slopes. The edge of the grass about 3 foot deep probably. And underneath the boat's probably 15 to 14. And we just bounce, 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 and we're just letting it come down that slope. Some bites are close up to the grass, some are way underneath the boat. If you ever find a pattern on them where they're either all tight to the grass or all close to the boat, you're gonna focus on that section of your cast. All right, I hope you enjoyed this episode of DockSide TV, catching bass and redfish in the wintertime marsh. Make sure to check out all of our DockSide TV episodes, fish in the middle of the winter, in the dead of the winter. Simply look at the publish date, and you'll see, and look for the ones that are published in December, January, February, on more tips and techniques on targeting the marsh in the dead of the winter. Make sure to also subscribe to our Matrix bait box to be able to get some of the products we are using today. And until next time, good fishing.